Alright, good morning. It is August 25th, 2010. I'm at the Bear Lake Trailhead. Today's objective is to climb Joe Mills Mountain and explore a little bit more around here. It's 7:15. The first shuttle bus just arrived, but there aren't any tourists here yet. Yay. This is Hallett Peak. To its right, you see Flattop. And we're right at Bear Lake. And the convection currents haven't started yet. So we got some great reflection pictures. I don't know why there's all these dead trees, but that concerns me. I saw a lot of this driving down the Bear Lake Road. And I'm worried that it might be bugs rather than result of wildfire. Gotta love Bear Lake early in the morning. And over here you have Thatch Top and Half Mountains to the left of it, but you can't see it because it's blocked. So we've hiked about a quarter of a mile or so, gone up the Flattop Mountain Trail. Here's Thatch Top. This ridge here is called the Arrowhead, the top point of it. Behind it is McHenry's. And I believe that's Mount Powell right there. Or maybe not. That's a little bit of Otis. The summit's too far away. And over here you have Chief's Head and Pagoda. And over, that's the keyboard of the winds right here. And Long's Peak is right smack behind that tree. This gives you an idea of a bit of the Flattop Mountain Trail. The first part starts to get rockier after a while, but this elevation, just a nice stroll through the aspens. Okay, so we've come 0.4 miles. Here's a turnoff. You go that way, you go to Bierstadt Lake. You go this way, you can go to Odessa, Fern, or Flattop. And here's how it gets from here on. A little rockier. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, this is my turnoff. It says the Lake Helene Trail, but you can see this just says Odessa Lake. And there's the trail. The Y direction said take the Lake Helene Trail. But here we've got the topo map. You can kind of see the Flattop Mountain Trail down there. There's Bear Lake. So we took that sharp left turn at the last thing, and I believe this is where I need to go straight. And so I do this for about 1.5 miles, and then the mountain's up there somewhere. Greetings. If I'm not mistaken, this is my mountain behind me, right up there. So we're gonna continue along the trail for a little while. This is like Mill Creek that trickles along all the way, probably up to the mountainside. But in any case, we're gonna continue on the trail a little more this way. And then at a certain point, we're gonna head on up the peak. Okay, I believe what I said earlier was totally wrong. I am at 10,492 feet right now. The mountain that I climbed, or not climbed, but showed earlier, I believe was actually Flattop from a long distance. Here you can see Notch Top, which I may climb tomorrow or this week, albeit from the other side. It is possible to do it as a technical climb on this side, but that's out of my league. And I believe this must be Joe Mills Mountain. And I think the trail continues along this way and then goes up. At least that's what it seems to be. I could be wrong again, who knows? Okay, I'm at 10,400 feet and change. This is Notch Top Mountain, which I may be climbing tomorrow, albeit from the other side. You can do it from this side, but it's a technical climb and way out of my league. I think this may be, well, I'm not sure what that is. But anyway, go along that ridge so you have Gable Top. The little Matterhorn somewhere around there. And I think this is Joe Mills Mountain. So if I'm correct, the trail's going to curve around and then we'll head up that way. And while I'm stopped here in this valley, you also got a view of the Mummy Range. You can barely see the tip of Mount Ypsilon right there. And, whoops, sorry, Hagues and Mummy. So check this out. If I'm not mistaken, we got some bear tracks. There's some better ones. Obviously those are boot tracks. More boot tracks. Well, I did see another bear track around here somewhere. So this is a campsite. But if you got bears walking through, I don't know that I'd want to pitch my tent here. Flattop doesn't look so flat from the north. That's that long sloping ridge. Technically, I believe I am climbing on the Bierstadt moraine, so all of this stuff was deposited by a glacier at some point. And so we're headed up there, but we're not going to bushwhack just yet because we got a ways to go. Okay, I just climbed some rocks over here, and suddenly, voila, this whole gorge opened up. If I'm not mistaken, and I've already been mistaken today, I think this is Odessa Lake down here. And I'm really kind of confused about this ridge. I think that thing is called the Gable. Somewhere along there's the little Matterhorn. It may be this point right here. Or it may not be. And I think that's Gable Top. And that might be Knob Top, but on the other hand, if what I've been calling Notch Top is Knob Top, then this is actually Notch Top, but that doesn't look like a Notch Top to me. And I believe this lake down here is Lake Helene, which is supposed to be used by fishermen, I think, but it's not necessarily the most scenic. And back to the matter at hand. On this side of the gorge is Joe Mills Mountain. That's something that I'm sure of, because based on topo maps and everything. The question is, and I need to check my wide map for this, do I bushwhack along the ridge on this side of the mountain, or am I supposed to continue along the Odessa Lake Trail, cross like a brook along there, and then somewhere like on this part of the trail, which you can see down there, head on up? But that does not seem like an E hike to me. That seems like, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to look at the map, and that should make all things clear. Catch you later. Okay, we're bushwhacking the ridge, which you can see behind me. I'm gonna get things so that I can see it. But interesting dead trees and what have you. And down there, well, somewhere down there, right over there. That's where I just took some of the shots earlier. So it's not as bad as it looks. You just got to find the path through the rocks, and I got to make sure I stay on the correct side of the ridge. Now this is a nice little alpine meadow. This is looking into the opposite valley. I think, well, I don't know. There's a lake down there. I don't think it's Bierstadt, because Bierstadt is in a, I don't know, it's got a little bit more of a elevation, I think. It's kind of on a hill. But that might be, who knows, I won't even conjecture. Alright, so there's the summit. We've got to stay on the right side of the ridge, because obviously if you don't, you're going to get into a scramble, and we don't want to do that, even if we do have our rock hat. And you can see the mummies over there in the valley below. So my plan is, looks like I need to descend a little, but I would like to sort of be in the bare ridge, but obviously I need to get over on that northeast side so that I don't find myself looking up cliffs and having to backtrack. So let's have a look at some of the ridge of Joe Mills Mountain. It's not the easiest bushwhack in the world. And there's some very tricky rock to negotiate. And these cliffs are insurmountable, so I need to find my way back over to the other side of the mountain. I ended up on the southwest side, And I want to get back over to the northeast side. But man, what some views. I'm glad I went this way just so that I've got some phenomenal views of the gorge. All right, we made it. 11:45. Definitely got to stay on that. Look at this. I mean, isn't that amazing? So behind me you got Flattop. And look at the glaciers. Wow. And I think that's the ridge I'm going to be hiking tomorrow. All those peaks you're seeing, except for there. Now we're getting into some distant stuff. Anyway, very important to stay on the northeast side of the ridge because the climbing on the southwest side does not work out. At least not unless you got a rope or someone to spot you or belay for you. But I don't have that, and I'm not willing to risk life and limb. So it took a little extra time, but got some really good views. So this is where I have lunch and put on some sunblock again because the sun is bright and intense. And we'll take it from there. I'm going to also pan over here and try to give you a view of some other mountains. I think over here, I think we may be looking at Stones Peak and Sprague Mountain. Again, not 100% sure. Then here you've got, over in the distance you can see Mount Chiquita right there, and Mount Ypsilon, Fairchild, Hagues, and Mummy. So if all works out on Saturday or Sunday, I'm looking at climbing Fairchild. So the summit's right there. Then going along the ridge, going up Hagues. Robe Peak is behind it. I may or may not do that. Then a long ridge to Mummy. And then you come down to the Black Canyon Trail, to the Loin Lake Trailhead. But that's a long hike. I may just be content to do Fairchild, and of course, depends on what the weather does, so we'll see. But in any case, I'm going to enjoy a really good lunch now. Catch you later. Okay, Doc Wallace reporting to you. Bear Lake and Flattop Mountain in the background. Mission accomplished and then some. It turns out we actually did climb Mount WUH. I double-checked the topo maps and everything, and the other point in question is 10,500 odd feet. It is unnamed. So we climbed Joe Mills Mountain and Mount WUH, which the Y classifies that hike as a D, and I would say today's hike was a D. Was a good time. Still have my legs. I'm still getting fussed at by blue jays. That one's running around with a peanut. Stupid tourists. And he's fussing at me because I don't give blue jays handouts because I'm not supposed to. In any case, good hike. And not sunburned. Well, I drank almost 3 liters of water, and I will probably finish the rest when I just walk to the car. All right, I'll see you on the next one.